But our big story tonight, tough lesson learned. A finalist in the race for state school superintendent didn't get to celebrate last night's elections results for long. She's apologizing for what many saw as a racially insensitive tweet.
Deb Kerr, who's white, says she was called the N-word as a teenager, but she didn't stop there. Our Sam Kramer joining us live in Brown Deer. And Sam, how are communities of color responding to this tonight?
Yeah, well, there is concern tonight, again, as she is one of two finalists for the state superintendent race that is now going to be on the April ballot. With over 40 years in education, she spent 13 years here in Brown Deer as the superintendent, where she stood up for students of color that dealt with racism. But now they say her education must continue. It began with a tweet from Madison Payton, a New York City educator that also co-hosts the Race Through Education podcast. He asked, when was the first time someone called you the N-word?
So often when we have the space to talk about it, we hope that people understand and are able to read the room that this is not a space for them.
The question spurring a discussion of healing and understanding of how racism continues to impact people of color, until the conversation shifted.
And so to have someone that thinks that what happened to her in this tweet equates to the lifelong oppression that communities of color have faced, it is not the same.
Deb Kerr, who's white, replied she was called the N-word when she was 16 because her lips were, her words now, bigger than most. In a statement, Kerr says she didn't intend for the post to be insensitive and, quote, I am very vocal about racism as it exists in many forms, and I intentionally point to it when I see it. I apologize for having posted something that was intended to be a part of the discussion of racism, close quote. It's a point Angela Lang with Milwaukee's Black Leaders Organizing Communities, or BLOC, calls hypocritical.
She said that she doesn't shy away from issues of race, yet she blocked the Black women on Twitter who were trying to hold her accountable and have a discussion.
She and Payton say Kerr should have just listened and found ways to drive change in education.
If you're not in a community, you're there to ask questions, understand, and then how do you move resources and center voices so that those things are addressed.
Now, in 2019, Kerr wrote this community letter after some Brown Deer High School football players were called the N-word during a game. She says that equity cannot just be another cliche. She called for systemic change in education. Reporting live tonight in Brown Deer, Sam Kramer, FOX6 News.
All right, Sam, thank you.